My name is Edith Gwendolyn Taylor. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana on October 2nd, 1971, and a big surprise to my family. But I think the biggest surprise is what God had in store. And if I think back, many a times when you think God's not there or hasn't been present, He has. And it took losing my mom in 2015 for it to really hit home of who she was and who she and what she represented in my life. Because everyone, if you want to do a philosophy question, is God real? Can you see God? No, haven't seen Him. But I can tell you there have been people who have been Him in my life. And she was the first one. She was the first one to show the meaning of unconditional love. Because love is not only an emotion. It's a noun, it's an adverb, but it's mainly a verb. Love is always moving. Just as the air and wind are moving, so is God. She was the hands and feet of God. So to answer a question, is God real? Well, yes. Her. I may not see God. I see God in her. Because the things that have happened for us came from a mother who prayed, who taught us how to pray, how to read the Word, how to be, if you will, the meaning of a Christian. It's not just go to church, read your Word. It's feed the hungry, feed my children. If you take care of the least of these, you've taken care of me. So that's any avenue. If I look back, God's protection. There was a time in New Orleans when I was leaving work very late. Thankful for a mother who made me go to church. On times I didn't, and I'm singing and praising and always aware of my surroundings. Yet someone could not harm me because they saw my guardian angels around me. And all I'm hearing is, I can't attack you. I don't see this person, but I'm hearing this voice of a person who was trying to harm me, but they can't because my guardian angels had me glowing, if you will, and it was freaking them out. But it's freaking me out because I can't see this person. Right. I can only hear. Right. But again, there's an instance of, was God there? Did I see God? No, but someone else couldn't harm me because they saw an angelic presence. I call it, God sent my angels to work that day. The other is, have you ever been alone? Just quiet, and you're feeling alone, and you hear in your spirit, you know, Edie, I wash my children with their tears. Who are you and where are you? Where's his voice coming from? But again, just as I'm talking to you, God does talk to his children. Are you listening? It's not going to be yelling, oh, Jason, I'm trying to get your attention. It's not going to be loud.
Right.
But it's going to be a still small voice. But it's enough that you know who's talking. Okay, yeah, God, wait, I'll meet you in the secret place. But many a times when I have been alone, God has reminded, I'm here. Why aren't you talking? Oh wait, can you stop talking so I can speak? How many times do we go to our prayer room with our own list, get up and leave, and you've never once heard God, Jason, I love you. Edie, I love you. Too quick with our Christmas list, that's how I reviewed certain prayers, that I've now taken the time. God, I thank you for this day, but you know what's in my heart. But I need to hear what you have to say to me. So I'm going to still my mind so my heart can hear. And 9 times out of 10, there is such a peace that comes over. Thank you. Again, can I say that Jesus showed up, that I literally saw him that day? No, but just like I have friends, he sticks closer than a friend or even a brother. He goes before me in the throne room. You know, I think I'm okay with that. Hold a thought.
Gotcha.
Oh, something that Lynn was doing got canceled because people are afraid of this snowy stuff. But it's okay. God knows how to work things out. The biggest testimony is actually me being still alive today. Because when I was 7 years old, with everything that was going on, the abuse, the lack of food, I tried to commit suicide. 7 years old. My father's old knife, favorite carving knife. And I went into the kitchen, patted on my stomach, it's nice and should be no problem. Knife wouldn't go through. And I'm going, wait, why is this hard? So I'm like, okay, wait, this is jiggly. Okay, try again. It didn't work. The third time, now I'm pushing as hard as I can. This knife flew out of my hand, didn't cut me because remember, I had the blade going to my stomach. It flew and hit the door. Okay, God, I don't know if you're here or what's going. I can't do this. You need to take me out. This is too much for me. No, Edie, I have something for you to do. Well, then, God, you're going to have to give me the grace to deal with this sexual abuse that's going on. This is not right. How I'm being treated is not right. You're going to have... Okay, God. God spared me and he showed up. It wasn't until, I want to say about 2 years ago, I was doing an inner healing with Nancy Brothers and Laura Bradley, Ben Bradley's wife. I don't know if you know them. And I was doing some inner healing and God reminded me, what trips up man the most? Free will. God can only protect children to a degree. He spared my life, but because of the choices of other people, there were still going to be some consequences. However, He gave me the grace and strength to walk through it. Did not understand, still don't fully understand, because remember, at the time I was 7, and I had to deal with all. Beautiful thing about forgiveness is like onion layers. You will always go through periods of forgiveness with people, whether it's not only an action, it's how they made you feel, what they said, what particular word is a trigger that can harden your heart. That God showed me, God doesn't want robots with his children, because if he wanted robots, he could have created them. What he wants is tender heart children. Children are teachable. Children are correctable. When we get so puffed up like Lucifer, he got kicked out of heaven immediately. It's free will. But free will to act all nilly-willy comes at a price. You lose a connection to him that you get instantly when you become his child. That when you choose to, thank you God, but I think I got this, you go down a path. There are consequences. And the choices and decisions you make to instantly bring pleasure, if you bring children into this world, they're going to pay a price. But at some point, a generation, if you've ever read the Bible, it says curses and blessing can go a generation, 10 generations. As much as a curse can go exceed generations, blessings can transcend. However, the choices and decisions that you align yourself with can align with a generational curse that is not going to instantly go away within one generation. It takes multiple generations to stand up and say, nope, not here. This is where I'm the last. And I'm one of my siblings that said, what I went through as a kid, my daughter will not. My grandchildren will not. My great-grandchildren won't. I am believing that I will be able to see my 3 times great-grandchild. Now, God can come back. Jesus can come beforehand. But I have the faith that I'm going to watch my daughter walk in prosperity. There will be no abuse. There will be no poverty. There would be no lack that has exceeded my mom's generation, my grandmother's, on both sides, my paternal and maternal. These demons, familiar demons, had generational right to haunt and torment because of choices and decisions of a family member. It takes a family member to say, nope, no more. And aligning myself with, okay, God, I see it wasn't working without you. It's got to work with you. Will I see it? I don't know. But I have if you ask me with my physical mind, I don't know. But my heart will say yes. I will see my 3 times great-grandchild praising and worshiping Jesus in such a way that they will not know what lack is. Because of a decision I made, nope, no more. This isn't working. There's got to be something better. And there is. It's in him, and it's in who you place your trust, as well as who you align with. Who do you bring into your inner circle? Who you know is going to, when you can't stand up and fight, I got your back. You need someone to help hold your hands up? Okay. I'm right behind you. But I feel like I'm going to fall. I got your back. I'll catch you. I've learned to treat people. There's an old saying. Be careful who you call a friend. People fit into three categories. Leaves, branches, roots. All about a tree. How many times we keep people in our life that we're only supposed to be there for a season, a leaf, but we decide, I want to keep them. I want to keep them close. But you can't fault that person for being a leaf, because they were only supposed to teach you one thing. You try to build a whole life around more than the one thing they were supposed to teach you. But just like leaves fall and blow away, that branch can be as deceptive little booger. Because when all's well, the wind blows this way, it sways. The wind blows this way, it sways. Blizzard comes in, snap, crackle, pop, it's gone. You're going through a trial, and you needed that friend, but because snap, crackle, and pop happened, they're gone. You know, if you can look at a tree and see it has 100 branches. Do you know it may have 3, no more than 4, extensive root systems? You find yourself people that can go deep with you. See, when you need to go deep because it's kind of dormant, they'll go with you to help you find water so that you're going to still grow. You're still going to be fed. Those are the people you need in your life. That's who my mom represented. That's who Ella Bogan, Gaithia Willis, Philorraine Skipper were to my mom, but became that way with me, was that they showed me with her. Lois can count. There's nothing that Lois could say that we're going to turn away. You need us in prayer, we're there. You need somebody to laugh and pray and help with a wedding, we're there. You need someone to help celebrate a funeral, you need a shoulder to cry on, Lois, we're there. That's what they represented. My mom had a lot of acquaintances, but those were the 3 strongest women I knew were my mom's best friends. Those were her roots, because those were the 3 people when push came to shove and a decision to take my siblings and I. Those were the ones she called. I believe that God's telling me to take them, but I don't want Indians. I don't want followers. I need to be praying for officer material, because each one of those kids has a calling. It's different, but they're all leadership material. But I need to know that I got people to back down and pray. And that's what the way God's been showing me is with my mom, and I miss her, she was giving examples. This is what you look for. Not how they're dressed or their outward. Look at the heart. Look where their faith is. Those are the people you need in your life. Find a couple of roots. The roots in God will grow a massive tree garden. But that has been my true testimony, is that appreciate where you've been, knowing it's just a journey. And there's more to see if you look out the windshield instead of trying to look through the little rear view mirror. But I left that laying down there. No. You got the wide open view, looking up straight ahead. Why look back? There is a time in the Word that it says, if you're going through something, remind yourself where you were. Well, I don't want to go back there because that was this. Okay. Pause, take a breath, regroup. No, there's still more to do. But where am I going to view it from? Am I going to view it from a rear view mirror that I constantly have to squint to look back? Or am I going to open my eyes and see this wide advance before me? Okay, God, where do I turn? And don't look as, well, I fell off, I went the wrong way. Okay, if you chose to go the wrong way, stop. Okay, God, how do I get back on track? I messed up. And will there always be consequence? Will I always have to suffer the consequence from this one action? I don't believe so. I believe that when you repent and ask God for forgiveness, He's not going to go, well, Jason, I'm going to forgive you. But every time you come back to this venture, you have to question, well, if I hadn't done that. Case in point, I got pregnant before being married. And I was told by lovely family members, for my daughter to be accepted by my family, I needed to marry her father. You don't justify one sin with another sin. Sorry. Don't work that way. Sorry to get a little animated, but it doesn't work that way. He could have killed me. And then my daughter would lose not one parent. He'd be in jail. I'm dead. Who's going to raise my child? Of who I want her to be and what God showed me her to be.
Right.
No. He had to, and I had to come to a point and say, okay, God, I got into this mess. I married him. How do I get out of it? I'm not going to say that in the Bible it says divorce is granted for abuse. Because honestly, Jason, I looked. It's not. There's not. However, it took a pastor on TV 15 years ago to show me and broaden adultery for me. To give me the eyes to see misuse. He broadened a whole section of Bible that talks about adultery, a sexual sin. I didn't have no sexual sin. I had someone beating me. Mom said, Lord, I can turn to the Word and there's instruction. Show me chapter, verse. I got angry, but I kept pleading. God answered me. I've never seen this minister before. However, that's why I'm saying you can't always, yes, you can go by the Bible, but understand the time period of when it was written, right, that you can broaden adultery to more than just a sexual sin. If you're mistreating the other half, which is what your spouse is supposed to be to you, why would you why would you do that to yourself? You're supposed to love yourself. Can't love yourself if you're beating yourself. Makes sense, right? You can't say you love your child if you're mistreating that child's mother. What is that child going to see? They're not going to hear what you're saying. They're seeing, you're hitting my mom. You're mistreating my, but you're saying you love me. But I just didn't come from you. I came from her too. So what is it about me that I haven't heard that you won't like, that you will do the same. And I finally had to, if I couldn't leave for myself, I had to leave for her. But again, it came back. Lord, if I didn't marry him, I wouldn't be now a single mom, a divorced single mom. Forgive yourself. I made poor choices, but I can choose how I'm defined, and I can choose how I let other people perceive me. I'm going to align myself with Christ, and I'm going to start believing what he says about me. And if you can't understand where I'm coming from with that, then I need to kick you out of my inner circle. And that's what I mean. You have to know, you can't just let anybody in your inner sanctum, because they're supposed to be the ones that build you up, not tear you down. They're supposed to also encourage you with the mind of Christ. And should also be, is it snowing?
Yes.
Wow. But they did say that was going to happen, so, but not for long, and it wasn't going to stick.
You know it's snowing in Louisiana right now.
Yes, but it's sticking. I told you, weather conditions prove to people it can snow in Louisiana. And 10 years ago it snowed. So again, it happens. Yeah. The beautiful thing, sorry Lord, sorry Jason, squirrels happen. But God loves us. And God wants, if we all stay teachable, and we all stay relationable, you will be the hands and feet. You will clothe the hungry. You will feed his sheep. Take care of the least. You've taken care of me. If you can't clothe the poor, feed the hungry, take care of a child, these are the least of these, you can't take care of him. Because think of how Jesus came. Lowly in a manger. Helpless. Still, he was the Savior of the world. Comes back to that. And if you stay like that, as a childlike faith, that's where we need to be. Doesn't mean we act like children. Don't need to act like children. But we have that heart of a child. A heart of a child wants to learn. The heart of the child does want to please its father, but also wants to learn from his father. You can't learn if you're hardened and if you think you know it all. Then what? And I can't prove to you that God exists. I can't prove to you, I know just enough of theology to get myself in trouble. But I can tell you, can you see the air? What evidence happens to show you that there is air? Wind, a breeze, trees moving. That's the only proof I can tell you that there's air around you. But if I was to tell you or ask you, Jason, when you needed Jesus, did he show up? Those are the experiences you remember. I didn't know that my stomach wasn't jiggly.
Right.
I know that I tried to push the knife in and it was hard. It wouldn't go in. Now granted, I had the strength of a 7-year-old. And I move it, I'm like, okay, then why isn't it going? I'm feeling fleshy, squishy. Voomp. It ain't hard rock.
Man.
it flew out of my hand. Was it a demon in the room? I don't know. Was it an angel in the room? All I can tell you is I'm alive. Her father tried to kill me and choke me and strangle me. Didn't work. I'm still here. She's still here. But there were people in my life who have encouraged me have righteous anger. Mm-hmm. Because I now know why abused women go back. If you go trying to get help and you just got a job making lots of money, you can't qualify. But if I don't have food to put on the table, you're going to come and take my child from me. Okay. I don't like that, and I'm not going to let anybody take my daughter from me. But I'm not going to be told, go back or go get pregnant. Really? No, not happening. I got angry at the DHS, June of 2003, because that's what I was told. And I left it. I went from having empathy, like, really? No, I was sympathetic, but I left with empathy. Because when you're trying to provide a safe haven for you and your child and a fresh start, but when you can't put food on the table, you're going to go back where you know there's food. It's going to come at a cost and it's going to come at a price. Maybe your life, but your kids' stomach being full becomes worth the risk. Well, what I did leaving there is like, okay, God. And I remember this. It was a Wednesday night. And it was a Wednesday night prayer. And I was like, okay, God. I know what I can do on this income and taking care of the needs of my home. But every child, I don't care who they are, has a want and a just because and a special. I can take care of her needs to a degree, but you've got to far exceed the just becauses, the wants, and the specials. I can't do it, but I know if I partner with you, you will do it, because I can show people, not on this income, but I left myself in a place that God could bless. Lindsay had the faith for a tricycle. He had yet to tell me how we were going to pay for the tricycle. Go to a grocery store, nice little elderly couple. Oh, Jesus he knows what she wants for Christmas. And he's taking care of it. Hands me the exact amount. Now, granted, it was a handshake. The exact amount to buy the radio flyer tricycle at Kroger when Lindsay was 3 years old. Many a times, something would happen in one of the used cars. And I'm like, okay, God, really? Where is the money going to come from for this? And it was my child. Mama, I have it on good faith. All this you're worrying about, God will take care of. Really, God? You couldn't tell me this? She sometimes had more faith. And I'm just frustrated because, like, really? I'm just trying to catch a break. Really? But if you raise your children in the house of the Lord, you'll get it. Now, would I have heard it from a grown-up? Hey, Edie, I have it good on faith that probably not. But if God can talk to, use the ass of a donkey to get somebody's attention, children listen. Children hear. And sometimes you need to hear the heart of a child. Mama, have it good on good authority. All you're worrying about, it's going to be taken care of. Because it got me out of my own head of getting anxious. Okay, God, you're right. I partnered with you. Thank you for the and have I always did it right where she's concerned? No, but I do believe I got a smart child headed for college. A heart after God. I did something right. But I learned that from my mom. Because she taught me how to pray. She taught me how to intercede. And she also taught me how to put my head in the lap of God. And just say, Father, this is too much. But I know with you we can get through. So that's what we have to do. And to share with others. Because again, I can't dismiss somebody else's testimony. But neither can they dismiss mine. If it wasn't for that lady, I don't know where I would be. I don't know what home I would have gone to, or if I would have gone to an all-girls home. And there again, with me being as quiet as I'd have been beat up. So again, where would I have found my voice if it wasn't for someone who said, you're worth it? I choose you. It comes back to that. His heart, his love. Anything else? I just don't know.
I think we're good. Thanks.
Jason, thank you. Sometimes we can dismiss our own testimony if we don't think we have the saddest story, or if we haven't achieved or come into the prophecy of blessings. You know what? Don't dismiss the blessing. And I'm not saying don't dismiss monetary value. But what if someone came into your life, stopped you for a moment to talk to you? But if you were in such a rush to be down the road and come across an accident, that could have been you. You know, sometimes things happen that takes us off our course. We might be 5 minutes late, but when you approach, there's an accident. Well, wait a minute. If I had left, and I was headed this way, that's a blessing. You may not have seen, you would have seen it, oh wait, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be... You know, sometimes God does. But again, it falls back to this too. How many times we get up in the morning, be in such a rush to get out the door that everything goes wrong. And then at night we're like, well, God, where were you today? Well, wait. Did you welcome me into the day? Did you thank me for the air? Did you thank me and invite me? Lord, thank you for providing my job, and I think that you're going to be in the car with me as I'm getting to my job and will help me attend to and give me the grace and endurance to do what I need to do. You know, how many times we are in so quick of a rush to get out the door that we forgot to invite the Lord. and then get angry when things go wrong throughout the day and you're like, well, God, where were you? Well, as a gentleman, you didn't invite him in, so he didn't come in. He didn't prevent. Sometimes we have to take ownership. As much as it's a relationship, if you don't invite him in, if things happen throughout the day it's not his fault. We have to take ownership. Well, wait, did I invite him in? Or did I really hear him say, don't go that way? That will not be a good way to go. He may not say stop, but if you're seeing traffic upon traffic, then be like, okay, God, wait a minute. Is there a different way? Do I need to show me, maybe I need to take the long way to get to church. It may take an extra 20 minutes, but maybe I have to avoid 64 across Jordan Lake, because even though that's the quickest way to get to Hope Chapel, maybe right now it's not the safest way to get to Hope Chapel. And I say that kind of joking. My mom was trying to get to work and kept being delayed and couldn't get out the door She ended up coming back only to turn on the television news that there was a sniper on top of the Howard Johnson Hotel shooting people, and she would have been one of the ones, because it was along the path that she took to the building that she worked at on Poydras. She was frustrated, couldn't get to work. We were off from school that day. But when she came in and turned on the news, we're like, Mom, what are you doing home? Why? I never made it to downtown. Mom, this is why. And I remember her going into the bathroom, because that was usually her quiet time. And I was like, Mom, why are you crying? Because I was angry at God this morning. And he was trying to get my attention, and I didn't listen. And I'm just apologizing to my Father for not heeding the warning. And I said, well, why? She goes, Edie, you don't understand. I would have gotten off the bus and walked in that gunman's path to work. If I had made it to work, I would not have made it home this evening. And I just need to thank my Father that though I couldn't understand of what was going on this morning, he knew something I didn't. And I didn't take the time to tune into my spirit. So I say again, Jason, things you think are not a monetary blessing, they might be a blessing of another value. And don't dismiss it. You may not understand it in that moment or in those few days. But in time, you will see the biggest picture of what that person was, what those things that have gone on in life. Wait a minute. Those were the best blessings because they taught me some valuable lessons. And I believe everybody's testimony is that some do have the monetary blessings, but a lot of them, if you take the time to listen, show you, this is a person, if I'm going through something, they might be able to give me some insight of a pitfall to avoid. Might be the biggest blessing because it will keep you from making a decision or bringing about a chain of events that God did not write in the book. Or, let me take that back. Because when God creates us, He has written out our entire life. Then He closes the book and then we are born. So there are pitfalls that, it doesn't take God by surprise that, oh my God, Jason went down this path, and how do we get him back straight? He hopes that you don't go down that road. However, he's got your escape plan if you do. And he has the people in that book that will be your guide to like, yo, Jason, if you could get off this road, really do, stop. There's more harm. You know, you should stop and go to the right. Don't keep going straight. Don't go to the left. That's even worse. You need to make a right turn. So that's what I say about people, of what you can learn from someone's testimony. They can teach you, or not really teach you, they can show you, avoid these pitfalls. Avoid this distraction. It may seem good for the short term, but have you thought about the long term? If you have anything to do before make this decision, just pray about it before acting. Just pray. Give it a little bit more time. And if I'm wrong, God will show me I was wrong. But Jason, if I was right, I think I just saved you 6 months of aggravation. It could have been, and you know, it could be a movie deal that could bring you millions upon millions of dollars. But if it's gonna cost you something of a spiritual value, wait, I understand we all want to have a profit and, you know, be a success. But if you have to lose some of your integrity or something that your parents had instilled and shown you to cut corners, or that's not really that bad, Jason, really? That's really not bad to have a cigarette in your video. Wait a minute. It may not be, but if it's gonna damage the image and of who I am and if proclaimed to be, no, not gonna do it. You could give me $5 billion and I would still say no, because you're gonna, if you do it, you would lose something of who people see you are. You are a man of integrity. You're a man of your word. I have never seen in any of your videos any type of alcohol, tobacco, and I don't know your stance on it, and that's okay. But you're not going to use those things to get your image forward. Could you be losing money in a sense? Yeah, you are. But what price do those people pay? You're a man that God has given great talents, and you're using it for His. You've been a good steward of His talents, of the talents He's given you, Jason. Don't let an image with money. Jason, we'll give you $5 million if you just hold a Marlboro cigarette. It comes at a price. Would you be able to tell a teenager not to smoke? Now, you didn't smoke the cigarette you held. But you see what my point is. You have now damaged, not that you damaged your image, but you tarnished. It got tainted. And it takes one act, and it comes to this. It takes one positive word to erase 1,000 negative words. Can you see one picture with a cigarette? Everything you've done before holding that cigarette is gone. Of who your image is, who you are. Because now they just see, does Jason smoke? I don't know. But he was holding a Marlboro cigarette and he got paid for it. He's not one that I would want to tell my kids not to smoke, because he picked up not that you get my point. An image, all for a monetary gain, It's going to bless my future, bless what I'm doing. But it came at a price. Sometimes we have to remember when we sin, comes at a price. And if it's not going to be in you, it's going to go to a generation. It's going to go to the next generation. And the next generation, till one generation says, hell no more. Enough. Satan, you've had generation upon generation upon generation of making the abnormal normal in my family, and I'm done. I'm done accepting poverty. I'm done accepting that people can talk down to me and treat me any old way because this is all that I've seen. Abnormal was made normal. I'm sorry. No. I'm not going to abuse my child to show my daughter the love that I was shown, because that's inappropriate. Not going to repeat those sins, because at some point enough's got to be enough, and it takes another generation to rid it, which is why I'm talking to my 3-generation grandchild, because my daughter is going to live a prosperous life. Her children will live a prosperous life. Those children live a prosperous life. Because I'm saying enough. My generation and my parents' generation have been through hell. Hell had its reign. No more. Stops here. She's going into blessing. My grandchildren are going into blessing. My great-grandchildren are going into blessing. My great-great to my 3-great. Because I am going to split. And that is even if Jesus does come down. I'm saying my 3-great-grandchild. I'm speaking it on faith. Because I want to see the prosperity, the fruit of aligning with Christ and saying enough's enough. And God, you've spoken in your word that blessings go generations. Curses go through generations too. But blessings can go generation upon generation upon generation. And I'm going to live to see it. But I will be there to teach those and show them that's not a good choice. I don't think that person is the person that should be in your life. Because if they have to separate you from your family, if they have to demean you to gain power, they need to go. There are more other fishes in the deep blue sea who deserve you and will treat you the way God would want you to be treated. But you have to love yourself enough and see that.